boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages. It's Jesse with the Common Nerd, bringing you pop culture and all things through a common sense lens. And obviously, the Hollywood and China relationship have been kind of weird for quite a while, right? Obviously, China allowed Hollywood to come in and a lot of the Western movies to come in and take advantage of their box office, having the largest population on the world for a single country. Obviously, opens you up to a very big market. But it's one of them situations where we've seen the decline in the box office from China over the last few years. And it's been funny because it's very much correlated with a very reliable decline in the box office for a lot of these major Hollywood studios in the United States as well. And it's really funny. It seems like a lot of the stuff that doesn't sell very well in the United States doesn't seem to sell very well in China at all. But in the past, Chinese box office was one of those things that almost could guarantee making a movie into a billion-dollar thing out there, right? It was one of the things that was so successful for the Marvel movies. It was one of those things that was so successful for like King Kong and Godzilla and like a lot of those kind of movies out there. Well, needless to say, boys and girls, because of all of the crazy political stuff that is going on out in the world, and because President Donald J. Trump is slapping some seriously crazy, insane, never before seen tariffs that hopefully will work against China, well, now China's all in their feelings and they're gonna go, we're not gonna take your Hollywood movies anymore. And although this was just reported the other day, it now has officially been confirmed, boys and girls, because as you can see over here from the Wrap.com, China to moderately reduce, because initially it was like they were flat out going to ban all of the Hollywood movies. Now there's a moderate reduce the number of U.S. film reports in response to tariffs. But boys and girls, the fun part over here is our dear sweet Andy No from Film Threat has given us a bunch of wonderful box office numbers over the last year, and to show us exactly why it does not matter what China does, because the Hollywood box office does not depend on China like it used to anymore, and it's certainly not a situation that's going to be a make or break for any of the movies that have come out over the last few years. So we're going to check out this article from the Wrap.com, getting all of the juicy details and see exactly what they have to say and what the official word from the Chinese CCP is. But before we do, if you do enjoy our content, hit that like button, share with all your friends, and subscribe or follow if you have not already, boys and girls, because we are grinding, we are growing. We just crossed 1,700. We're inching our way closer and closer to 1,800, and I could not do that without every single one of you. Also, let you know to think about this all in the comment section down below. Do you think this China tariff thing and trying to limit a lot of the movies that are going to be going in from Hollywood out there, do you think it's really going to make a difference? Do you think this will cause Hollywood to change the way they make movies, as in so many times in the past we've seen them pandering with promotional material, i.e. Disney, for specifically the Chinese box office? Or do you think this is just a bunch of big bolstering out there and it's not going to make a difference at the end of the day to what the kind of money that Hollywood actually ends up making? Let us know what you think about all this in the comment section down below. And if you can support the channel, please check the links in the description as well. All right, from the Wrap.com, Marvel's Thunderbolts had been given the green light to play in the world's second largest film market. Yes, the second largest, boys and girls, outside, of course, the United States. China will moderately reduce the number of U.S. films that play in the country in response to Donald Trump's 125% tariff on all goods from China. The Chinese Film Administration announced on Thursday. So like I said, at the time of the recording, this is something that just officially got confirmed today. Is that mean? Is that mean? You got to think about it, though. The problem with this is all Chinese Communist Party, right? So this is all like the communist nonsense people, the people that are like, constantly surveilling their people, constantly putting them down, putting them in internment camps, essentially going after a very specific population inside of their country to put them in camps and use them for all kinds of horrible, unspeakable things we can't really mention on YouTube without getting in trouble. Yeah. So you know what? Fuck. The wrong action of the U.S. government to abuse tariffs on China, sorry, I'm really bad at a Chinese accent, will inevitably further reduce the domestic audience's favorability towards American films. Oh, that's right. That's right. You're going to make the Chinese audience upset, so they're probably not going to see your movies anyway. The China Film Administration said in a statement, the CCP's Film Administration said in a statement, we will follow the market rules, respect the audience's choices, and moderately reduce the number of American films imported. Aw, what a tragedy. It was not immediately clear which films would be affected, but Marvel's Thunderbolts opening in May had previously been given the go-ahead to play in China, and the 20th Century Studios spy film The Amateur is due to be released in the country tomorrow. So obviously, any kind of actual contract deals that they've already got signed, guess what? None of that's changing, which means probably the majority of the movies that are going to be releasing over the next 6 months to a year, which have probably already got domestic distribution things worked out for China. So yeah, sounds like this might end up being all bluster and no actual substance. While Hollywood scaled back its reliance on China's box office in recent years, why though? Because fewer films played there, and China began leaning more heavily on its own films. That's right, even China didn't want what Hollywood was selling. Sounds much like the domestic audience, doesn't it? 2025 brings two movies that are destined to do gangbusters business in the country. November's Zootopia 2 and December's Avatar Fire and Ash. It's unclear whether this ban would even extend that long, but certainly Disney hopes not, because that's right, they did. Those Avatar did really well in China. I don't know about the original Zootopia movie, but you know, it's an animated thing with essentially furries, so probably will go over pretty well with the Asian countries. Just pointing that out. There were 42 U.S. films approved to play in China in 2024. 52 were approved in 2019, and 26 were approved in 2021. Needless to say, that's a whole lot. I mean, 52 in 2019 to 26 in 2021 and 42 in 2024, that's a little bit of a drop-off, but it sounds like it was climbing back. China has cut back in the past and was recently approving more films that the local box office struggled last year. But with Nizai 2 providing a lot of momentum, they can afford to approve fewer films with built-in hype. On Wednesday, Trump announced he's pausing tariffs for 75 unidentified countries that were negotiated with the United States, but at the same time increased tariffs on China to 125%. Trump says, based on the lack of respect that China has shown to the world's markets, and I can't do a very good Trump voice either, I'm sorry, hereby raising the tariffs charged by China by the United States of America to 125%, effective immediately. At some point, hopefully in the near future, China will realize that the days of ripping off the USA and other countries is no longer sustainable or acceptable. Sorry, I do horrible impersonations. It's not what I'm known for. But needless to say, shout out to Andy Ng, shout out to Andy No for giving us this thing, because this is why it doesn't matter. People are going to be like, oh, doom and gloom. And I guarantee you, there will be articles for some of these movies in the next year. For as long as the pause on having these movies go to the Chinese box office, I guarantee you, there will be people in the Hollywood trade magazines, in the legacy media out there, that will use any box office failure that was supposed to open in China but didn't as an excuse to blame it on Trump and that it's all his fault that this movie failed. But guess what? It's really not going to make a difference for the majority of the movies that come out. Because as Alan points out, I got some of the Chinese box office numbers wrong. Here's an updated chart. Godzilla outperformed every other U.S. film. Color us shocked there. It's a Godzilla movie. Avatar and Jurassic Park will be the only winners in China this year. Inside Out 2, China, $47 million. Sounds like a lot. 1.69 million, it's 1.6 billion was the total. 3%. Deadpool and Wolverine, 4%. A Marvel movie that should have done well over there. Moana 2, 1%. Despicable Me 4, 6%. Wicked, 0%. Color me shocked on that one, boys and girls. Mufasa, 2%. Dune Part 2, 5%. Godzilla vs. Kong, obviously, 23%. Kung Fu Panda 4, another one based on kind of like a Chinese kind of thing, 10%. Obviously, pandas, huge in China. Sonic the Hedgehog 3, 1%. Average that all out, boys and girls, for the entire box office and everything else, you have a total of 5%. Is all China matters to the Hollywood box office overall, boys and girls. So I guarantee you, like I said, let the Hollywood legacy institutions, all the legacy media out there, scream and holler. They will use any excuse they can to make sure that any movie that flops, that doesn't get a Chinese release over the next probably year, it's going to be all Trump's fault. And it's going to be all his fault. That movie failed at the box office. The only reason it didn't succeed, and yada, 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 yada. But as the numbers right here prove, It doesn't matter, boys and girls. And the only reason I really wanted to go over this, because obviously I'm not worried about it, how much money Hollywood actually makes with all of, especially with a lot of their activist programming, but I do want Hollywood to succeed again. I want to make Hollywood great again. I want to see good quality movies. I want to be able to go to the theater with my family and enjoy stuff and not have to worry about a bunch of an indoctrination and political arguments being shoved down our throats and LBGT alphabet soup mafia nonsense. That's all we want anymore. It's just good storytelling. Stop sacrificing your storytelling on the altar of your political agenda. Stop putting political agenda above good storytelling, and I guarantee you your box office will be a success again. Not only here domestically, but also probably in China as well, because a lot of the same values that people in the West appreciate are the same ones the average Chinese citizen out there appreciates as well. Truth, trust, honor, doing the right thing, not screwing people over, a hero's journey, overcoming advertisement, pulling yourself up by your bootstraps, overcoming great loss, and becoming something better, and going out there and being a hero. Everybody out there, every human being on this planet with half a brain in their head, and that includes the average Chinese citizen out there, is including the average American citizen as well. At the end of the day, we have more things alike than we have more things in common than we do differences when it comes to the kind of art and the style of stories that we all like and enjoy. There's a reason why so many things have been consistent across storytelling for years, and Hollywood has not gotten that for a very long time. So go ahead, legacy media. When your disastrous dumpster fire box office ends up coming out on the next woke piece of garbage movie that you produce out there, blame Donald Trump and China all you want, because at the end of the day, we know why you're failing. You decided to dance with the devil, and now you've gotten burned. You've lost hundreds of billions of dollars trying to chase a modern audience that doesn't exist. And China's moratorium on your movies will just be Hollywood's latest excuse to blame anything and everything that it's a disastrous dumpster fire on anyone but the actual person that is to blame, themselves. So cry, whine, mash, and try to blow smoke up everybody else's butt as much as you possibly want to, Hollywood. At the end of the day, we know the box office is your fault and your fault alone. After all, you've gotten exactly what you deserved.